Welcome back mga ka-nation. Dahil sa mga taong mahilig sa science, kalimitan sila ay nababansagang nerdy. Pero wag ka, sila ang mga nagiging mga doktor at enhinyero. But what if engineering or medicine isn't your cup of tea? Would you prefer a glass of wine, maybe? Let's go to wine country and meet two Filipinas whose love for biology and chemistry took them out of the health fields and into the grape fields. Ancients called it the nectar of the gods, that intoxicating potion we know as wine. But picking grapes off a vine and transforming them into wine isn't exactly a divine act. Still, Lise Asimont and Tondi Bolkan fell in love with the science behind creating wines. For them, that was a higher calling.
My passion for wine growing basically started because I didn't want to be a doctor like my parents. Up until that point, I'd always studied animals and human beings, and to study plants was so wonderful. And to grow something and to sort of aid the creation of something rather than be the one to create it was really just this super satisfying feeling.
I knew that I've always wanted to use my chemistry background, but I also knew that I didn't want to get into the health medical field. The sight of blood just had me hit the floor right away. So I knew going into the wine industry that this is stuff I love. I love agriculture, I love biology, looking at the grapes, tasting grapes. I love wine, and but at the same time, it is a science. You use that chemistry that I've learned in college and then apply that here.
This Filipino winemaking team works their wonders at Francis Ford Coppola Winery in Northern California. The rich geography and arid climate here are heaven on earth for the wine industry.
I'm the viticulturist on our winemaking team. And so viticulturist basically is a fancy term for one who cultivates wine grapes. So I farm wine grapes. Check out the color, look at the seeds. Actually milk the color out of the skins to see when we're ready to pick. So kind of get the color out. And there's the color right there.
When October comes, the vineyard bustles with activity. It's harvest season. Lise and her team move fast, filling bin after bin with the vine-ripened fruit.
So basically, my main job is to make sure it gets done, but to stay out of everybody's way.
As soon as the grapes are harvested, it's off to the main winery, where winemakers like Tondi use the latest technology to transform the fruit into wine.
You want to take a look over and see the auger. It's going to push it into the crusher destemmer. We'll remove the stems off the grapes, and it'll crush the berries enough to release the juice.
But Tondi spends most of her time in the lab, where she blends scientific skill with her senses to make wines.
Our job as winemakers to actually know what we're tasting and know what's good and know what's working and knows what can sell and knows what's the best that the grape is giving us.
The fruits of their labor get drained into wooden barrels where they age for up to 18 months. And when the time is right, the wine gets bottled, ready to be enjoyed in all its varieties. So what's it like being a Filipino winemaking team in this industry?
It's a gift. We sort of were able to meet each other through circumstances. We didn't know each other prior to this, but it turns out our family in the Philippines knew each other, which is wonderful. It is very different, though, because our culture is a culture of warmth and of food, and everything's around food, and it's a laughing culture. It's a culture full of life, and I really feel it's truly a gift to be able to enjoy that together and perpetuate that and show the people in the wine industry what the Filipino culture is.
So let's pour a glass and say cheers to this dynamic duo, making their mark in the world of wine, one grape at a time.